Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, Hari Om, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. It's wonderful to be with all of you, and thank you for making the time, especially on a Sunday evening. So, today's session is going to be informal and fun, and it's amazing anytime we can get chicks from across the country together, where the main focus of today is to serve as an info session about the Youth Empowerment Program. Now, there have been 6 installments of the program so far in America, and because of various reasons, pandemic being the biggest one the past few years, we haven't had the program since 2019. And so there's a whole crop of students who are eagerly waiting to apply and take advantage of the program, and we're very happy and blessed that we can have it in the summer of 2024. So the way it'll go today, I'll present a brief presentation, just an overview of what YEP is, the different components of it, and what are all the offerings we have in the program. And then I'll turn over to insights from Brahmachari Sohamji and Brahmachari Shubhaniji, and we'll wrap up our session with a nice question answer session, either about the youth empowerment program or chick in general. So for those of you that are new to the chick system right now, it was decided by Pujya Swami Swarupananji in the summer that we would have 3 chick coordinators leading 3 different chick zones. So Brahmachari Shubhaniji is leading the Eastern Zone, Brahmachari Sohamji is leading the Western Zone, and I, Brahmachari Hari, I'm leading the Central Zone. So we have a lot more fun activities, camps, a lot of things coming up. And the youth empowerment program is one big thing that really brings all of us chicks together. So let's get started then. What is this program even about? What is the focus? Why does it exist? This program started when Pujya Swami Tejomayananji had this idea in India about more than 20 years ago that why don't we have some kind of program that sets up our youth for success? That we emphasize scriptural study in our chick groups. We want there to be a togetherness amongst all of them. But is there some kind of program that really jumpstarts that, gets people involved in studying this knowledge with a seva component as well, where they serve in some capacity? And so, YEP India was born. In 2013, they had the first batch of YEP America. And so far, all the batches of YEP America have been led by Pujya Swami Sarveshananji. And now with his move back to Bharata, there's a new group of faculty that will be taking over the program. So first and foremost, the dates that we have for this year's program are June 10th to July 19th. June 10th to July 19th at Chinmaya Mangalam in Corsicana. It's about an hour and a half drive from Dallas, Texas. So much like it was in Krishnalaya in the early days of YEP, Mangalam is also a kind of a secluded area where we really benefit from that kind of a solitude-like region there. It's perfect for a program like YEP. And so the first 2 YEP programs in America were in Krishnalaya and Pier C, and the subsequent 4 programs were in Chinmaya Mangalam. Now, the main component in the 2 months of scriptural study is the satsang aspect. Now, as chicks, we have weekly satsangs wherever we are, whether it's being led by a swamin, brahmacharin, or sevak, or having independent study groups of our own. Now, having it once a week is a great recharger that we get, and we get to dwell on this knowledge during the week, and it helps create a good environment for us to really reflect with each other. The great thing about the YEP program is this reflection is there every single day for an 8-week period, 7 to 8 weeks, where several satsangs that we have a day. And when we as in chick groups go through various texts, One text we may go through for a whole 6 months on a weekly basis, doing a little bit at a time. When we are in a program where it's so immersive that every day we touch on these texts at a deliberate time, then that becomes, we see so many different connections in what we're studying, and it sinks in that much better. The learning curve really becomes that much more conducive. And satsang is not just someone sitting on a stage teaching to a group of people. Satsang literally means in the company of good. So even reflections with your fellow classmates as you're having lunch, as you're walking around, that continues, that constant reflection with the like-minded people around you. So this kind of a sustained satsang is something we may never get later on in life, where for several weeks at a time, totally immersed in that satsang at all times. And this being an ashram environment, you see here on the pier at Chinmayamangalam, there's a beautiful lakefront that we have, and meditation sessions and some satsangs happen out there as well. And there is a faculty this year. We have a diverse faculty of several Swamins and Brahmacharyans. And the Swamins and Brahmacharyans love coming to Yet because I've heard this from many, many faculty members. There are many groups that people teach, Bal Vihar, Chik, Setukari groups, or adults. They say the Chik age group that they teach in an ashram setting, that excitement for the knowledge and the excitement that the teachers get in teaching, it's like no other. It really reflects when the students are so excited and they have a good bond with each other. Any faculty member that comes in instantly feels at home, and they really bring out their best when they're interacting with the students. So again, here are some more pictures of the satsangs. Sanskritam is also a major component of the youth empowerment program because our direct connection to Shastra has to be through the Sanskrit language. And it's not that we're looking to make students Panditas by the time they leave the course, but a rudimentary understanding of how to read Devanagari, understanding of how basic grammar works, that goes a very, very long way. Pujya Gurudev was insistent that the scriptures stay preserved for generations to come. One way of preserving these scriptures in our hearts and minds is, do we have that basic understanding of the vocabulary and the language that these scriptures are in? That really helps. And so there are fun, innovative ways that we learn Sanskrit of course. It's not a situation where you have to be nervous that, oh, I don't know anything beforehand. How do I even, starting from the akshara, from the letters, we go all the way to forming basic sentences, understanding a basic shloka. We take it in many small steps along the way. And this rudimentary understanding of Sanskritam goes a very, very long way in the future. There are also workshops that we often find the best way to learn a concept, having it really sink in, is to provide a practical understanding of it. So the ashram is 140 acres long, and we use a lot of it for our workshops, whether it's taking a hike, whether it's finding different areas where we can use these practical methods, movie workshops that we have, workshops created by some students that help us. All of these are components of the course. Where the struggle that comes in today's day and age, I was reading an essay by Gurudev just yesterday, where he says the scriptures are there with all their knowledge, but if we don't find how it practically fits into our lives today, it may as well be useless for us. So that's incumbent on us to really make it relevant for ourselves, and workshops are a great way to do that. Then there's also the seva component, where the youth empowerment program is not simply confined to the 2 months of study in the ashram. There's a 10-month part-time service period following the study portion in the ashram. Now, what's expected in the service period? We understand that you're in college or you're young professionals, you have just about 1,000,001 responsibilities on your plate. But what this service period provides is, now that you have been trained during those 2 months of study in various ways of how to conduct a group discussion, administrative things, how to teach Bal Vihar, how to conduct events at a local center, all of these skills come in handy at this point. So several students have opted to help with social media at their centers or at a Chik West level. They've helped teach Bal Vihar classes, create workshops for high school students and Chiks at their centers. create service projects for other members to take part in. The sky's the limit for this. There are so many different seva creative activities we can do that really brings people together. And seva is also a component in the ashram during those 2 months as well, where the benefit of seva not just comes in doing work that benefits others, but that bonding we find with others and that purity we find in serving, that's that final part of the YEP motto that we have. Learn, serve, grow is that final step. That comes together when this knowledge is put to use in that arena of seva. Learn, serve, and grow. And then other activities and memories. There are a host of other activities we have during this YEP program. One important thing is we don't want it to just be a one-way street where it's just teaching and the students learning. We want the students to participate and use that knowledge while they're on site. So one capstone project that the Youth Empowerment Program students engage in is the National Junior Chick Camp that happens at Mangalam during that first week of July, where there are high school students from all over Chinmaya Mission West that come for that camp. The counselors and the faculty for that camp are the students in the Youth Empowerment Program. So right away, you're putting that knowledge to use, and firsthand, you all work together to understand how to run a camp and what is the work that goes into it. And the beautiful thing is, the next generation coming up, the way they respond to chicks who lead them in activities and in Balvihar, the response is totally different than it is to anyone else. Where another reason why we have this YEP program is, you look at the number of Hindu organizations we have here in North America, the list is endless. And many are based out of temples where the focus is having these temple activities. And when they look to see who is their leadership for coming generations, the reliance seems to be on simply those who are immigrating from India wave after wave. In Chinmaya Mission, we look for a larger Sevak base, where those who have gone through the Balvihar system, those that have gained that way, when they stay on, they come back to teach and participate, the effect is much more amplified, where they have an understanding of what the vision of Pujya Gurudev is, and in the YEP course, we provide that to a large extent, where Pujya Gurudev's vision was so comprehensive, not just something that would benefit people for a few decades, but for generations upon generations to come. And he was very keen in his insights to what does this American people brought up in this country, what kind of a spiritual flavor do they need to really grow to their full potential? And that's on full display at the YEP course, where we try to teach in a way that you can carry it forward, training others at your center to really be on board with Pujya Gurudev's vision. And some of the activities we have on site during, I mentioned the National Junior Chick Camp. Another is we do a Hanuman Chalisathon, where we go for 24 hours straight chanting Hanuman Chalisa in various tunes. And it's an amazing thing where that really brings the bonding together. Everyone gets together and they chant. And during the 2 months also, there are special events that we have, little talent shows that we put on, anything really to really showcase what our talents are, what interests are, and to bring that group together. And oftentimes, I actually attended the very first YEP course in America back in 2013. Hard to believe it's almost been 11 years since then, but the friendships that we make at the course, 8 weeks, you're staying with the same people, really learning together, those friendships last a lifetime. Where now I'm seeing those same Yuvavirs are getting married, having kids of their own, having successful careers. To see that from your batchmates that you know so well, you grew with, shared your vulnerabilities with them for 2 months and forward, and to see them succeed and do great things, and to be there for them through tough times as well, is such a rewarding experience. This is where friends become family. That's what happens at YEP. These are a couple more pictures of the program. There are bhajans every night and aarti every night, where we don't dismiss certain aspects, saying that this is just about learning jnana, we hit the books and we have lectures and that's it. There is a beautiful devotional component to it as well, where students learn basic puja vidhi, they learn Vedic chanting, they learn comprehensively a dose of everything to see for a sadhaka to take this journey forward in whichever arena they find themselves, what are all those components that play a role in a sadhaka's journey? So there is a fitness component as well. There is 1 hour of sports every single day. And many profess, especially after they're done with the course, a few years removed from it, that the YEP course is when they were in the best shape of their lives. Afterwards, maybe the freshman 15 or, the senior 60, whatever you want to call it, comes about. But the YEP course, people find that in body, mind, and spirit, it's a very good integration. And that's the program by design. Having that fitness component, the sadhana component, satsangs every single day. The happiness level of the people there is on a different level. And so we look at life lessons that are learned as well. From the basic organizational skills of how to run certain events, how to work with the board at a center, all of this is taught as well. The pragmatic ways in which they can use this knowledge to really serve in a mission center. Because imagine a situation where 20, 30 years from now, you can look at all of our centers in North America. Imagine that at each center, leadership is taken up by those who were Yuvavirs, those who were chicks that have been ingrained in this system with a real comprehensive understanding of Pujya Gurudev's vision. When they take up leaderships for generations going forward, the mission can grow by leaps and bounds in ways that we haven't even imagined yet. So this program is not just something for the short term where people serve, but being sadhakas for life, being on that journey, wanting to share this knowledge and share everything with others, we become great sevaks going forward as well, serving Pujya Gurudev's vision far and wide. Now, finally, what is the process for application? So there is an application that's been sent out. There's the link for it that you have on flyers, and it's been on the Chick West website, shared on social media as well. So once you fill out that application, attaching a reference letter as well, either from a former Bal Vihar teacher, it can be from a sevak at the center, a board member, the spiritual guide, swamin, brahmacharin, or sevak at your center. Once you get all that and you submit it, then you'll have a phone call with a team member. Afterwards, then you'll receive your acceptance in a few weeks after. And acceptances are on a rolling basis. So it's not that there's a deadline at a certain point and then we start making decisions. It's on a rolling basis. We give acceptances. And this year we have a cap of 30 students that can be in the course. Given that this is the first time we're having in a long time, 30 students is a reasonable cap that we have. So please do submit as soon as you can. If you have any questions about the application process or anything that's kind of stumping you along the way, please do speak to myself. Sohamji or Shubhaniji will help you out. And one big part of the application is that personal reflection section. So those of you applying to college or just applied to college, I know you have nightmares from that personal statement part, but don't worry. We're not looking to nitpick in things in this personal statement. It's to understand why you want to come to YEP and what makes you so amazing. We know you're amazing. We just want to know on paper why you're amazing as well. So with that, that is the brief presentation I have, and all of you have stayed awake. If I could, I'd give each of you a piece of candy. That's what I do for Bal Vihar in Dallas when they stay awake. But now I'll turn it over to Sohamji and Shubhaniji to provide us with some more insights.
Thank you, Hariji. I think you covered all the points so beautifully. I just wanted to share a couple of things regarding what is the importance of YEP. I've heard about it. I haven't had the good fortune of being part of YEP when I was growing up. I feel the age which is there of youth is very, very formative and impactful age. Whatever convictions get shaped in that age, that stays with us for a long time. We do many retreats over here, and I'm sure other parts also. There are many retreats going on with Yuva Kendra adult retreat. One thing people feel when they come to a retreat is they want to come back again. They say, why does this retreat end only in 3 days? Why do we not have a little longer duration for these retreats? On one side is retreat, and on another side is a lifestyle like Sandipani. ashram, where it's more rigorous, a very strict routine. I look at youth empowerment program as something in between. It's not very short like a retreat. Also, it's not as long like any ashram stay, where 2 years you have a rigorous schedule. It's tailored for youngsters who want to learn something valuable, which will help them throughout their life in a way that they don't have to make major changes. It's during summertime. Most of us have vacations during that time, so we can come and learn at the YEP program. Out of all the things Hariji mentioned, one thing I'd like to emphasize, and that is the power of good routine. When we go to ashrams like these, when we go for programs like these, what happens subconsciously is a very good routine gets ingrained in us. Something that we struggle with on our own, simple thing like waking up on time, getting our morning routine in place, having a good balance between exercise, sattvic food, good food to eat, which is healthy, nourishing, and good sleep routine also. How many hours to sleep? All of those things come in a very natural and a easy way when we go to programs like these. And many of you have shared, those who have been to the program, that what we learn in these programs stays with us even after the program. I can say that for Sandipani education, whatever we have learned in terms of routine has been learned from the ashram setting. That is a beauty in addition to all the other things that we're going to get. The knowledge, the seva part, the devotional part, working with people, all of that is additional. But the underlying thing is we'll be able to manage our time well and also use it in an effective way. Then we can do whatever we want. Either we go back to school, go back to work. Those skill sets will be helpful even there. I will pause over here and hand it over to Shubhani ji, who will share a few more insights about YEP. And then if there are questions, we can take it up later. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Hariji and Soham ji. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. There's just one thought that came to me when I thought of YEP. Yesterday, we did a movie workshop with high schoolers and middle schoolers, and we watched Kung Fu Panda. And I'm sure you've all watched this movie, and I've watched this movie. But yesterday, something really struck me. And what struck me was that dragon scroll that everybody was waiting for, wanting to get, that dragon scroll that Po got. When he opened it, there was nothing there. There was just a mirror, and it was his reflection. It was Shifu who actually got the scroll for him, and it was Shifu who brought out his essence. So it was the Guru, and it was Shastra. It was having somebody there to have you turn within and see what actually can happen in our life. So when I think of YEP, I think about the contact, companionship, the time that we have with such great teachers. And when we spend time with them, they begin to see in us what we cannot see. They begin to see in us the things that we're capable of, the things that we can achieve, the things that we can do. And they inspire us to reach greater heights and limits. And they actually show us what we can really do. For me, this is YEP. That companionship with great teachers who can see beyond what we can see and who can take us to unimagined heights that we could never dream of. And once we learn how to live that kind of life, using those abilities, those aptitudes to serve for a greater cause or for a higher cause, there's no greater fulfillment than that. There's no greater joy than that. And that's something that you can get it. Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you to the both of you. Now we'll open it up for questions. So you can use the chat function to post your questions there, whatever questions you have, and either myself or Shubhaniji or Sohamji will answer the question. And it can be about YEP, they can be about CHIC in general. When do applications open? Applications are open. November 12th is when we had launched the applications, and so they're already open. We are accepting them on a rolling basis. By show of hands, where are people from here today? So I know in the signups there were names of the centers. How many of you are from, let's see if you know your zones. How many of you are from the western zone of CHIC West? Western zone. All right, how many from our central zone in CHIC West? And then from the eastern zone? All right, good. So healthy participation from all of our different zones. So Hariom, our schools don't close by the 10th, so our high school graduation is on the 11th and 12th of June. So every year during YEP, there are students that have either a graduation that ends right as the course is starting, or they have like a law school or med school orientation in the middle. On a case-by-case basis, please do let us know which dates clash, and we'll see if we can work something out. There have been times that because they have a gap summer between what they're doing and then grad school, they come to the YEP course, but then there is some kind of obligation in between. For a couple days here and there, if there's somewhere they need to go, we can work that out with you. So let us know. Can you please tell us about the 10-month service period? Shubhaniji, would you like to take this question about 10-month service period?
Sure. So the 10-month service period is a time where we connect you to your local centers. So wherever you are, we connect you to your local center, the closest center to you. And then we kind of see, have a discussion with your center and you to see in what way can you best serve the center. So some of our Yuvavirs, they end up teaching, as what Hariji said. Some work on the websites. Some even do movie workshops. Some do the movie workshops. Some create dramas and plays, so it depends on what your skill is. And we try to match that with your local center as well as your time and your ability. And then in that way, there's a healthy bond that builds and the entire community gets nourished by that seva, and so do we.
Awesome. Now, there are two other questions that are in the same vein when it comes to the scheduling. That what if my school is on a quarterly system, or if I have to come a few days late? Again, on a case-by-case basis, we can discuss that with you. So please include that in your application as an asterisk that this is one concern about scheduling, and we'll figure it out with you. And one other question was, this year's program seems to be a few weeks shorter than previous years. Yes, and is there a reason for that? So initially with the YEP course, they had played around with the schedules over the years. At first, it started end of June and went to the end of August. The college students had trouble with that because moving into your apartment or dorm, all of this happens in that second half of August. So they moved it up closer, beginning of June then. Now, what happened with that was a lot of college and high school graduations, finishing up terms, things like this. So the sweet spot seems to be that's not for a full 2 months, a little bit shorter, and from mid-June to around mid-July. That seems to be the sweet spot. That's worked for most students. That's why we've kept the dates the way they are. Now, one question, are we allowed to ask our local brahmacharyans, i.e. Sohamji, for the reference letter, or should we reach out to a prior Balvihar teacher? I think that depends on what Sohamji thinks of you, but in all seriousness, any sevak at your center that knows you well and is affiliated with Chinmaya Mission, knows how you do with Chinmaya Mission, they would be a good source to go through. Now, when the brahmacharyans, when we're the ones who are on that application committee, it's weird if we're the ones writing the reference letter. So please branch out away from the three of us. We know you well, we love what you do, but please ask someone at your local center that's a sevak in that case and they can give you more information. So for foreign chicks meaning those from the islands, Trinidad, Tobago, what kind of accommodations? We've had several students come from Trinidad and Tobago over the years, and if they've come a little bit earlier, we've had them accommodated in the Dallas area. We have many host homes that accommodate, and then we provide them with transportation to Mangalam. So we'll send out more information about this in the future about what the transportation to Mangalam is. Many have opted from around the country have opted to come a day or two or the day of the program starting, and we pick you up from the airport and we shuttle you to the Mangalam ashram. Others have opted to come a little bit before, and they've either asked, can we be accommodated in Dallas somewhere for a few days, or they have friends or family here. Either way, keep us informed of what it is, what your needs are, and we'll make sure it goes well. And then there will be a team cooking food there, Sevaks, where we want the focus for you all to be on your study, your reflection, your fun. So there is a cooking team comprised mostly of Sevaks from Dallas and surrounding areas that they offer the invaluable service of cooking during the course. How can I serve my center if I'll be at college and far from a center afterwards? Sohamji, I think that would be an amazing question for you to answer.
That's true. If you're in college right after, then most of it would be remote seva. But as Hariji and Shubhaniji mentioned, YEP is not something that's short-term vision. It's a spirit of seva that we have to carry from YEP. So if during college time, if our contribution is more remote, after college, when we go and settle down in any place, that time it's again the reconnection, which is expected and something that is a vision of this program also.
Thank you. One other question that comes is, when will applications close? So I don't want to sound nebulous here, but when it comes to the applications, what we've seen in the past is that there are some students that have an internship or something lined up, some plan or something. And when that changes, they've wanted to go to YEP, but when this travel plan or something else has changed, now they've been able to apply for YEP. So we don't want to put a cap and say it's closed at this certain time. It'll be rolling until the spots are filled, and there won't be a set application deadline, but please don't take advantage of that and put it off for later and later. As soon as you can, do try to put the application in. Even if you don't even fully commit and say you're going to come 100%, having that application on file with us is a good thing to have, so that when you decide, what you want to do, because internships, things like that start forming up around March or April. That's why we wanted to get this out in November, so that the application is out there, so that we're not holding you up in making your decisions.
I can just add one thing about Seva, if that's okay. If you are remote, 2025 is 50 years of CHIC. So there's going to be a lot of work going on. There's going to be a lot of projects happening in CHIC. So there will definitely be Seva for you wherever you are. We'll track you and we'll put you to lots of work.
Definitely. So some of the Seva activities that are there in the past, I'm talking about things that have, or the past 10 years, what kind of different Seva projects have there been? We've done a junior CHIC program, where the complaint that comes from any center that we visit is our high school students have low attendance. It's really hard for them to get involved in the mission. So doing special workshops for them, like Shubhaniji was mentioning, the movie workshop they had just yesterday, different events like that for high schoolers led by the chicks really bring them in, ingratiate them into that local center. So those are initiatives. Other initiatives include special events that take place. This being Gurudev's 108th year, there are so many events like that led by chicks. In Dallas, for instance, after 10 years, we're putting on the Gurudev musical once again here in Dallas, which this is a high school and CHIC effort, a musical on Puja Gurudev's life that for the benefit of the whole congregation to enjoy. There are other projects like the National Seva Project was one, where Chinmaya, in tandem with Chinmaya Publications, really promoting new publications that are there And there was also an effort to really get Pujya Gurudev's commentaries in the local library system at various libraries in the country. So, and we're always open to new ideas for what kind of seva activities you can do as well. So is it okay to apply and withdraw later? We'd rather you apply and then have a withdrawal rather than wanting to apply way later when all the spots are filled, right? So please don't apply with the intention of withdrawing at some point, but please have an application on file. It would be good so that you and us were not scrambling later on in the process. We have a few more minutes. We can take a few more questions. Or if Shubhaniji or Sohamji would like to add anything to any of these. And Shubhaniji has provided the YEP application form here, the short link that's there. And another thing we're going to be encouraging soon is our Yuvaveers that have done the YEP course before, for them to hold info sessions and to hold presentations at their local centers. Because one thing that we're finding is there a best time to go? I was hoping that question would come up. Is there a good time to go? Meaning at what stage? That's very subjective. Some have chosen to go right after high school because the youngest age eligible are high school graduates. So that summer before you have to go to college, there's no more flexing you have to do for your resume that summer. All right, you're already into the university you're going to. So that seems to be a good time that many students take advantage of. Another is that summer after college or after the first year, before internships become a necessity. Any one of those summers people have taken. Some have even taken a summer off of work. Maybe they're transitioning between jobs. Maybe they've taken a sabbatical for a bit. There's really no perfect time to do it. I would say the perfect time is now. Because if we wait longer and say, I'll do this in a few years or so, who knows what station of life we'll be in at that point. So taking advantage as soon as we can really is the best way to do it. Another question is it okay if references from virtual teachers who's not actually from my center? If they are involved in Chinmaya mission, know your contribution and know your involvement with the mission, that's totally fine, even if it's a virtual teacher. And I know virtual programs, we've really had a lot of them in the mission. So many chicks, so many sevaks. I only know from, the head up. That's it. I don't even know what they look like because we've only met online, only virtually, but in a way that's made our Chinmaya Mission West a lot smaller, where the alliances and bonds we have with others are really there, even if we're not physically close to each other. So one question I have then. Okay, this is what I would ask to Shubhaniji and to Sohamji. Say that I'm dedicated. I'm a chick that's really interested. I'm just afraid of the rigor of the course because Hariji has mentioned that there's satsangs and there's Sanskrit class and there's workshops and there's this and that, a service period. What if I feel like, I get overwhelmed quite easily when there's a lot of things going on? That's something I'm trying to work on. Wouldn't YEP hurt me with that? What do I even do if that's my situation? Shubhaniji, what would you say?
I would say we have to give it a chance because it's different when we're around such wonderful people, and it's different when there are people around us who keep inspiring us and keep pushing us, and we're there right beside us. If we have all of that beside us, and if we have the blessings of the Guru Parampara, then we'll be fine. All we have to do is take that first step, and the rest just happens.
Sohamji?
I would say, Hariji, more we push ourselves, our abilities also grow. So if we think this is something which is that we have not tried before and we want to try it, who knows, once you start exploring it, you might start enjoying it more and more. And the faculty is very understanding. They will not push us in a way where we won't connect with the course or get overwhelmed. It's a beauty, I feel, of spiritual teachers, that they make sure that the student walks along with them and they're not walking ahead and student is left behind. So I would very much encourage joining there.
Wonderful. Because that's one doubt that has come up when I've spoken one-on-one with potential applicants. saying it looks like such a rigorous schedule, so much going on. In the beginning, anytime we're in a new setting feels different to us. People that we don't know or a schedule that we're not a part of. Within a few days, with the loving support of everyone around, that becomes second nature for us. And that's in any situation we find ourselves in. Going to college for the first time, a new job in any way. But the Youth Empowerment Program empowers us not just as sadhakas on a path, but feeling that comfort in any situation we find ourselves in. There's no discomfort after going forward. Challenges will be there, but it's the attitude of let's take this on. That's what I've seen from a lot of our Yuvavirs as they go through the program. Is the YEP program looking to be every summer for the foreseeable future? Gurudev willing, yes. That would be the best situation, that every summer we have an opportunity to have this program. Now the pandemic went against us, so many things like that. But going forward with Gurudev's grace and blessings, we'd love to have this program every year. And also Swamins, which Swamijis might be coming to teach. The faculty is being formed up right now. And we'll have more information as that gets formed up. But all I can say is we do have a diverse faculty coming, and we connect in a different way with each Swamin Brahmacharin that teaches at a course. And so we're in for a treat when there's so many. Okay, one question. How did YEP prepare you for Sandipani? So I'm guessing that's a question for Shubhaniji then?
You know what Sohamji said about routine? That was really important in YEP, because in YEP we got so used to getting up early, to exercising, studying, and living a disciplined lifestyle. So because of that discipline and that habit, going to Sandipani became easier. You know, we didn't have to struggle so much with waking up early or pushing ourselves to exercise or making ourselves sit in satsang for an hour and a half. So we didn't have to struggle with all of that too much because the training in YEP was given to us prior.
And speaking for myself also, the one big way that YEP prepared me for Sandipani was this power to introspect and reflect when there is so much being taught on a regular basis. Where with 3 or 4 classes a day, that's a lot of information coming in, how to compartmentalize, how to make that personally practical for myself. That was a skill that was really honed at YEP. And that served as a very handy tool when it came to the Vedanta course at Sandipani. Now, one application question. It mentions we need 3 personal references. Do all references have to be a Balvihar teacher or a Swamiji? Not necessarily. If there are, at the slides we showed, if there's a board member at your center that knows your affiliation with Chinmaya Mission, if there are other sevaks that have worked with you in the past, it can be a mix. And it doesn't have to just be Balvihar teachers or a Swamiji. So with that, any final questions coming our way? And this presentation aspect of this whole thing it was recorded. That will be shared with mission centers, the presentation part of it. And your questions also help us make a more refined FAQ section as well. That is in the works, that is posted, but some of these questions will make it there as well. So thank you for providing us with that. All right, with that, if we can have some closing insights, just something brief from Sohamji and Shubhaniji, we can conclude for the night.
Sure. Thank you, Hariji. Looking forward to seeing all of you at YEP. I would say this is once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm sure all of us will make the best out of it. Hari Om.
Yeah, we're grateful for the opportunity to be with you. And I would say the same thing. I am super passionate about YEP because it changed my entire life. And I think that it will change yours for the better. Great.
And from my end, thank you so much. And it's a wonderful opportunity anytime we get to have a program like this. And after 2019, after several long years, to have it back again is very exciting. and it's all of your interest that makes it so exciting. So thank you so much again. If you have any questions, reach out to us, and please do spread the word to anyone else you may feel might benefit from this program. And we'd like to have all of you involved. Thank you so much. I can do the closing prayer now. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.